Hi everyone, it's Sue. How are you all? I've got inky hands. I've been having a bit of a play. Haven't had much inspiration again today, so I just thought I'd grab some inks and have a bit of a mess around. So I'm using this premium parchment paper. I don't know, it doesn't actually say what the weight is, but I love it. It's sort of got like a linen handmade feel to it, and it's heavier than normal copy paper. It comes in ivory, which is this color, and cream, which is really nice and rich. So I love using this in my journals. I love printing printables on this. Just gives it a different texture. So it ends up, it's 25 sheets and I pay $8. So you know, it's not the cheapest option, but if you want something a little bit special, it's something nice to use. So so it works out to about 30 cents a sheet, which isn't too bad, I don't think. So I just going to play with ink. I was drawn to this color, distress ink color, distress oxide, sorry, peacock feathers. And so I've done a couple of pages. That's why I thought I'll just turn the camera on. This is really dense in color. I didn't want that much color on there, but as I said, I'm just playing and I'll use bits of this. I've added some flecks of water and lifted some of it up. I think this is more what I'm looking for, and I'm going to add some water flecks to that to draw some, just to put in another layer on that. But I'm going to be tearing it up and using them in tags and cards and that type of thing anyway. So I'll probably make a tag or something today. I'll see how we go. But I just thought I'd turn the camera on and bring you along with me. So if you don't want to get dirty hands, wear gloves. It washes off eventually. It doesn't particularly worry me too much. So I'm actually probably going to need 2 pieces of paper because one sheet's going to be fairly thick with color and the other one not so much. So let me get that out ready. And basically all I did was it's you know, I've done it before, so has everybody else. It's just basically dab into your color there. I don't care if it goes onto the back because I'll be using this in collage and that sort of thing, so these will all have a backing anyway. The only thing, I love this mat, the only thing with this is it does actually have a texture, like a grid type texture to it, so you do pick that up in places, as you can see here. I just tend to go through the Tim Holtz mat so much, so I thought I'll give this a try. So if you don't like that grid look, it's probably not for you, but just going to, no, I don't want that. I want to add some water, and I'm just going to try and get, there we go, get some in the center there as well. Okay, so I'm just going to mop up with this sheet. So basically, I just want some inky papers. I'm going to put them in the sun to dry, and then I'll come back and I'll start using the other sheets that I've already done. Okay, so I'm going to, I don't know, play with these. I'm going to probably do a little bit of stamping, and I'll probably add a few gold splotches as well, just to give it a bit of layering before I tear it up. So I'm just going to add some big splotches of water to try and lift up some of that oxide ink. And I'm just being really, really random. I don't care how much is on there. I'll just leave that sit for a little bit, and then I will press that with a paper towel or tissue. I've got no paper towel in the house, so I'm going to have to use just a Kleenex, which is what I've got here. And I'm just going to quickly grab some stamps. So I just want to randomly stamp these. That's been sitting there long enough now. I'm just going to pop this on top and just press that and draw up some of that ink. You could do this through a stencil. Actually, I might try that. I might grab a stencil and pick up some of the ink on the other one that's really dense in color. So I'll just grab a stencil. So I don't know whether you can see that there. It's still a bit damp in places. It has actually just drawn up some of the ink. And I'm going to, I've never actually done this through a stencil with a baby wipe, so we'll see what happens. And it's on thin paper, so it might not react very well. There's a little bit of an effect, but not much, so I'll just do it in a couple of places. We could add some texture paste. How do they normally do it? Do they normally do it with baby wipes? I don't know. I'm not really into mixed media that much, so I'm just having a little bit of a play, really. Okay, it's not really showing through. So what I might actually do is I may even just add some little bits of texture paste. So I'll just grab some of the, I've got this new Minte chalk paste that I have in the shop. So it dries pretty quickly. So I don't want a real thick layer, that's all. Because as I said, I'm going to tear these pieces down. Okay, so just really randomly, I'm just going to duck off and clean up this mess, get this cleaned up before it dries on my stencil and my palette knife, and I'll be back. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the paste and the ink to dry, I'm going to work on the size tag that I want. So I'm going to make it the height of this piece of, this is just an A5 sheet of card, craft cardstock, and I'm going to make it so it's about 8 1/4 high, and I'm going to make it, I think, about 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be putting my paper on, the paper that I've just coloured. And I'm going to tear it, so you're going to see bits and pieces of it. So I think I want to add maybe just brayer some gesso onto that, just so that it sort of changes the color of it underneath. And then on the underneath of that again, I'm just going to be layering it on this color. So I think that that color scheme will be quite nice. So that'll just poke out, and then you can journal on the back of that. So yes, I think I might just get some gesso and do a little bit of brayering on that using a Montmartre gesso. And I'm just going to add it to one of my blocks. You can tell I don't do mixed media very often because all my paints and everything are all clogged. Now that's probably way too much gesso, but that's okay. I'm just going to wipe it. Actually, maybe I'll just do that, because you're not going to see all this. This is just for any bits that are poking through from where I tear the painty paper, this paper. So you don't just see just plain craft, you see another texture underneath. So I'm just going to do that actually with my palette knife, and it's picking up some of the color off the acrylic block. I'm not concerned about that, that's okay. There we go. So we just need to let that dry as well. Okay, so on this tag, I also want to add a texture die. So this tag's all about texture. So I was inspired by a picture that I saw on Pinterest, and I think it was, oh look, honestly, I can't. Oh boy, I'll try and remember who it was. I'll go back and see if I can find who the lady was that did it. So I was just, when I was playing around with the inks, and I was just sort of looking through Pinterest, and this lady had actually used this color scheme in her tag. So, and that's where I was inspired. So I'll have to try and find who the creator was. It's not exactly the same, obviously, but because I don't have a picture in front of me here at the moment. But Mary or something, I think her name was. I'll endeavour to have a look. Okay, so I'm going to cut. I've got this Bubbles texture die from Uniquely Creative. It is in my shop as well. I love these dies, and I'm just going to use this piece that I cut off. I don't care that it's not going to be the circles aren't going to be perfect. I just, rather than just have this piece laying around, I just thought I'll cut it out of this and we can utilize that. So it's very fine, and I possibly should have used some tape because I've got to try and stick this down now. I do this every time with these fine dies. Isn't that pretty though? Okay, so I'm going to darken that up with a bit of ink as well, and I'm going to keep those circles because I may even add some of them to the piece. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Let me just, I'm just going to use one of these sheets here. So I'm going to just put all these facing the right way up. You can feel how they've come out of the die, which is the right way up, because I'm going to actually spray a bit of, I don't know, walnut ink or something over them, I think. Okay, I've just grabbed these. I've had these in the sun, so they're all dry now as well. I couldn't find my Tim Holtz walnut ink spray, so I've got this melted chocolate from Dilutions. So this is so old, I have no idea what that probably doesn't even spray. Oh, it does. I don't know that I want it that dark, but I'm just going to so I'm just randomly spraying that to get a bit of colour. And then I'm going to go and just pop that in the sun as well. Okay, so I'm going to distress around the edges of this craft cardstock and give it a bit of ink. So basically this is the tag base, and then it's going to be glued onto that peachy colour card. And just a bit of ink. You could even do black ink around the edges to make it even more dramatic if you wanted to. And as I said, wear gloves if you're concerned about your hands. I'm not overly worried. Okay, so this is dry. I want to add a little bit of just stamping. It's going to be torn, so I don't need to really think too much about where I'm stamping. So I just want it just really randomly, basically. It can go over the modeling paste as well. I don't know. We can always add more if we want to. So that, and I'm thinking I might want to add some gold splotches, or do I want to add some gold foils? I could do the gold foils later, I suppose. Okay, so this is the same height as this. That's okay. I do actually want it a little bit smaller, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now tear this paper. Actually, I might use my ruler because I do want relatively like square edges. This I will use as collage fodder down the track. Okay, so I'm just using my tear ruler here, and I'm going to tear basically so that I've got, you know, sort of a straight line, and then I can tear chunks of it out if I want to. I'm not really sure how wide I want these to be. I'm just going to, let's put that on the edge there. Let's go for 1 inch. So I'm just putting it on one line here, and then I'm going to line it up with this inch mark here. And the same again. So the tag's 3.5 inches. So May even go a little bit more than the inch. Okay. And I'm just going to tear the top and bottom because I just want them to sort of sit on there. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tear into some of this here, just to sort of open up so you can see the back part, and I'm going to ink around all of these to add that little bit of brown edging. And I'm just doing it really roughly. It doesn't matter if it goes into the tag, as you can see there. See how that just looks a little bit better? So that's what I'm going to do with those pieces. And I'm just randomly just tearing and opening the piece of paper. Now I'm just going to go around and do the same sort of thing to the craft cardstock. It doesn't matter where or how many places you do it in. You just want to add more texture, that's all. And I'm just inking where I'm tearing as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think, I'm just going to layer these down. I'm liking that so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of ink underneath in the middle of these, just to hold them in place where I want them to stay, because I'm going to add another layer under those torn pieces. Now I think I've got this all around the wrong way because I've got 2 tears in the same place. It doesn't really matter, but let's just swap these over and see what that looks like. And then I end up with 2 down here in the same place. I don't think it really matters. Okay, let's just do that, I think. Now that I've moved it all. So basically, I like that there. So I'm just going to lift this and just add a dab of glue just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to move this one over here and glue it just to hold it in place. And then I'll just put the middle one in the middle to fit. So it's basically just to hold it down for me at the moment. So it's a very textural tag. So I'm just going to push that into, sit over top of that. And the same with this one. So tear into there a little bit. So it's looking nice and textural at the moment, isn't it? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to add some cheesecloth poking out, like in these places here. So I've just got some coffee dyed cheesecloth here. Cut them, glue them, and tuck them underneath, just so that they look like they're under there. Do you know what I mean? So something like that. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue and glue that down. So that'll just glue that piece down as well as glue that cheesecloth down. I'm going to have some coming out from here. I'm not really thinking about it too much. So I'm going to add a piece in under here. Another piece here that I've torn and I haven't inked. So I think what we'll do is we'll add 2 bits here. So you can see I'm just adding a glob of glue and just letting the, whoops, letting the cardstock and the, what do you call it, cheesecloth adhere as one piece. Add some there. Can I lift that and add some there? Yep. Okay, so it looks very clumpy at the moment, but I can pull this once it's dry and just sort of get any excess big bits, just so that there's little bits of cheesecloth sort of poking out. But I'll do that once it's dry. So I'm just going to add a couple more pieces, just randomly. And now I'm just going to glue these pieces down. Okay, so it looks like a big mess at the moment, but I think it will all come together in the end. So I'm just going to grab the piece, the focal piece. Okay, so it's been sitting in the sun and it's all dry. So I just wanted that as a focal piece. And I don't know, it's dark, but I don't think it's too dark. So I'm just going to wrap that little bit of cheesecloth around that. And we'll put this bit here. So I'm just tearing that a little bit more just so that it can sit over that, like that. I'm actually quite liking how that's looking. Okay, now I did keep some of these because I thought I might put some of them back in there, but I don't know that I will. I could even just add a couple of circles, and that's a fun background, so we'll keep that, and we can use that as a painty piece of paper as well down the track. Okay, so I think I'm liking the look of that. So I'm just having a think. Yes, I am. So I'm going to, how am I going to do this? I'm actually going to tip this and glue okay, so that's a piece that's come out, that's okay. So I just want that in place there. So I just will need to hold that in place for a second. And then I'm just going to slowly lift these and glue down these other main bits here. So if some of these little bits are poking up, I'm not too concerned about it because that's just going to add another dimension to the tag. But I just want it so that it's not going to tear when it goes in and out of a journal. So I like how that cheesecloth is sticking over that. So I'm just going to gently lift that and glue that bit down. Okay, yes, I really like that. And then I'm just pulling that excess cheesecloth away, just to make it a bit softer. And I think I want to put a focal point. So probably, I always tend to go for butterflies, don't I? Let me see if I can find a nice big butterfly. Oh wow, I think that that is really pretty. So is that, but I love the white on that. I'm going to go with my first one that I picked up. It's put these back out of the way. Not sure where I want to put it. Maybe there. I think I'll just glue it down there. And I'm just going to add a bit of ink to the back of the wings, just so, because I'm going to leave them floating, just so that it's not stark white showing underneath. I love it. I think I really, really love it. I'm just going to do a tear here as well. And I think one just here somewhere. Doesn't want to tear because I've got the cheesecloth underneath there. So I'll just wash that in there like that. I don't know, what do you think? I love it. I absolutely love it, but that's just me. And then what I was thinking was just adding it to a piece of cardstock like that, just to sort of make it like pop. And we can just glue that down. So I'm going to quickly glue that down and call this done. And then just because I've squashed that down just to make sure that the glue all adheres there, we'll just go through and just rough up some of those little corners that have been squashed down, just to add the texture again. I love it, absolutely love it. You could even do like a floral feature, botanical feature. I just love that. I just love the color. I think it's the color more so than anything, but I love the fact that I got out of my comfort zone and I had a little bit of a play with some mixed media. And I have done it before and I've really enjoyed it. So I think I need to make a point of doing it. Try and even allow myself an hour every week or something, just to have a play and experiment with things. So I'll just hold it up closer for you. You see the detail. So much fun. So much fun. All right, I think you'll be seeing a little bit more mixed media from me. I've really enjoyed that today. I hope you have as well, and I hope you get your paints and your inks and all that sort of thing out. I love getting dirty. It doesn't worry me that my hands or my nails are dirty. I love it. So I'm going to, yes, hold me to it. I'm going to try and do a little bit more mixed media to go into my journals. And also, if someone can tell me with lifting the ink from the base, I don't know whether I've left it dry for too long. Do I just use a baby wipe through a stencil, or how do I actually draw that up? Do I need something that's got more moisture in it to do so? Let me know. I really appreciate your comments. So, all right, guys, I'm leaving it there today. Once again, just give you another look. I love it. I can't stop looking at it. You know, I could even add some, I was going to put some gold flakes or some gold flecks or something, but I think for the moment I'm just going to keep looking at it and decide whether I really want to add anything more to it. You could go around and ink this edge as well if you wanted to, but I think I like it clean and crisp, because it just draws attention to this part of the tag. So, and then you've got journaling space on the back. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of creative time in. See you soon. Bye-bye.